let's just start back with the problems with Jennifer before this. You knew that Jennifer was having some mental health issues before the gender confusion. Is that correct?
That's correct. She struggled with bullying at school for many years, and she's had a few traumatic events in her young life that we sought counseling for and tried to help her as much as we could as her parents kind of get through those events.
And just so the audience understands, Todd, you are Jennifer's biological dad, and Krista, you are her stepmom. Her biological mom lives in Canada, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And how many children did you and Jennifer's birth mom have together, Todd?
5.
5 kids. Okay. And so has the biological mother been involved in raising Jennifer at all?
No, because I have a son that resides with her, and at the time of the divorce, Jennifer was with myself, and so it's for that reason.
Okay. And I understand just from reading the papers, Krista, that because this will become relevant later, the times that Jennifer has gone up to visit her biological mom in Canada have been relatively few, and they haven't gone particularly well. These two are not close from your observations anyway.
She's actually never been to Canada to see her biological mother. The biological mother moved to Canada and got remarried about 7 years ago. And Jennifer, our daughter, has seen her biological mother one time in the last 7 years.
One time. And my understanding is that there's been some allegations with respect to that mom's conduct toward the children that have given you two some concern.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so the bottom line is you two have been raising Jennifer since birth.
I have been in Todd's life since Jennifer was about 6, going on 7. But Todd has raised her since birth, primarily as a single parent, yes.
Yes, okay. So Jennifer starts manifesting some mental health issues. It's not uncommon, certainly, in today's day and age in general. And when there have been divorces and all that, it can just complicate a kid's life. There's all sorts of reasons why kids wind up feeling unhappy or depressed. And before she said anything about gender confusion, how was Jennifer saying that she was unhappy? Was she saying things like, I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, before the gender stuff?
Never.
No, never. She's always been very sympathetic to people that feel suicidal, but she's always made the statement that that's not what she would do, that she loves life, and that she's primarily struggling with bullying, which led to some depression issues with her.
Okay. Yes. So what was the first clue you two got that now we've transitioned into something new? Jennifer's only 14 years old. We've transitioned into, I'm not just depressed, I'm a boy. I think I might not be female.
I think from our church, there were some people referring to our daughter as our son, and some of the other people that are like counselors, that kind of thing, they said that she was telling people her name was Leo and she was a boy. When we asked her about it, she denied it. And that would have been probably about a little over 2 years ago.
Okay, so she was only 12 years old. So she denied it to you. Did she start to look more masculine in her clothing, her hair, that kind of thing, or no?
Not really. We used to allow her to color her hair, and then she had an incident in 7th grade where she got into an argument with another person over her hair color. So we just said, okay, well, no more hair color for a while. You're obviously not mature enough to have different color hair as a kid. But she wasn't appearing herself as a boy. We've always let her pick her own clothes, but the way that we do that is she would put the clothes in the Amazon cart, and then we would look at them and say, okay, this is an appropriate shirt, this isn't an appropriate shirt, and let her buy what we felt was appropriate. She's always been a jeans and t-shirt kid.
Sure.
Never super dressy or anything like that, but never men's clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I mean, I've told the audience before, I was a complete tomboy as a child. Doesn't mean you're a boy. So there'd be no clue there. I'm just wondering how recently did she start to go more hardcore on the, I'm a boy and I want you to call me Leo?
Well, there was after what we mentioned 2 years ago, there was nothing for a couple of years. There was nothing to do with any of that. She was happy. Life was really good. It wasn't until her summer job called and asked if our son could come in to work early. So that's
Wow.
where it kicked back off. And that would have been during this, I think the early to mid part of this last August 2023.
So that's the first you found out she was out there representing herself as male. I mean, that must have been quite a stunner.
We
It
were
was.
shocked. When she had said at the church that she wanted to go as Leo, we had put her in counseling, and we had a talk with her, and we said, why don't we look at why do you feel this way? Why do you not like yourself so much that you don't feel you have self-worth and self-value, that you want to change everything about yourself, even your sex? And so we put her into counseling, having them discuss that with her. And she went through about 6-8 months of counseling. So we thought we were in a different place.
Do you know now whether that counselor was one of those affirm counselors, or whether it was a legitimate counselor who explored all mental health issues?
They were not an affirm counselor. We met with them prior. This is someone that we knew through the church, and we were pretty comfortable with that they were on the
That's
same
good.
page as we were.
Just
Yeah,
reading
her
up on your
counselor-
story, I have to say, you seem pretty clued in on the gender insanity that's being pushed at every turn. I mean, we'll get to the details of the story, but you seem pretty clued in on, no, we're not going to let you talk to our daughter alone. No, we're not going to just ship her off to a state that transes kids with medical procedures. Had you guys been following this in the news? Because I think many parents would not have had the awareness that you two do.
Not exactly following in the news or anything like that. It's just we have a firm belief that, transgenderism is more on the make-believe scale than on something that is appropriate for a child.
Yeah, we felt, in addition, we felt pretty safe from that being in Montana, because the schools that our daughter went to where we live are fantastic. The staff is fantastic. The counselors, everything is good. So we never would have seen this coming.
You never would have suspected it. Yeah, of course. I mean, in California, you can leave
Not
the
in
school
Montana.
during school hours and get cross-gender hormones from the Planned Parenthood clinic, and the school will allow it and never tell your parents. Montana, very different story. So now we're in August, and you get the call saying, your son Leo and the work, and you're. I mean, that's got to set off the 5-alarm fire. So what happened between you and Jennifer? We'll get to when CPS showed up, but from August to when Child and Family Services starts knocking on your door, which would be this past fall. What was going on?
It was really just a matter of a couple days. So we had discussed, Todd and I, that school was going to start that Monday, I believe the 21st. It could have been Tuesday the 22nd, but school was about to start in a few days. And Todd and I had discussed that we felt she needed to focus on going into 9th grade, having a clean slate this year, and kind of getting on track. So we wanted her to quit her summer job, but we discussed with her, if you're doing great by the Christmas semester, you can go back and work 1 or 2 days a week, and we'll incorporate it into your school year. We just want you to stop and focus on school right now. At that point, she was very, very angry with us and didn't agree with us, of course, and made the statements to another child that she met at a track meet that she had wanted to kill herself. And that's when the whole thing kicked off. So it was really that day when Children's Services got involved with us.
Well, and what day is that?
August 18th.
Okay. Because in the affidavit that they submitted, Child and Family Services, they say someone called them concerned about Jennifer. Do we know who that was?
I do know who that was. Yeah, it was the child that she was making these statements to.
Okay, that makes sense. So the next thing you know, it was the first sign of serious trouble you had in the moments leading up to this hospitalization and the removal of Jennifer, that Division of Child and Family Services showed up? Was that what happened that day to clue you in, like, oh my God, we've gone to DEFCON 1? Or was it Jennifer coming to you both saying, no, it's really escalated now, I'm suicidal? Like, what happened that day to tell you it was getting bad?
That particular day, we were having a good day at home. We had friends and employees over at our house, and it was nice out, and we just brought back a new small Aussie Shepherd dog. And so she was happy that day, but at the same point, you could tell there was maybe a little bit something wrong, but she was happy and she was in and out of the house a lot. But nothing to be alarmed about.
Okay.
However,
and then what happened?
So then it was exactly 1:48, because I keep a pretty detailed timeline of the events. An officer called us from our local police department and said that our daughter had made statements to another child that she had wanted to kill herself. And how did we feel about that? Did we feel that she was safe? So while I was on the phone with this officer, I walked down the hallway to Jennifer's room and I spoke to her and I said, this is going on. This police officer's on the phone. How do you feel about what's going on here? How do you feel about this? Where are you at? And she presented us fine. She was mad at us and we knew she was mad at us, but she made no remarks like, well, I am going to kill myself. She didn't say anything like that. So the police officer was on the phone with me. He could hear the conversation. And I stepped back in the other room and I told him that I would keep an eye on her. If I felt there was danger, I would definitely transport her to the hospital and keep in touch with authorities. And that was at 1:48. At approximately 7:40 that evening is when Children's Services came to our house because they said the police officer could not speak to the child or lay eyes on the child, even though he had never asked to do that.
If you're an American over 50, you've weathered challenging times. You've witnessed moments of greatness. And now you may be feeling like you're watching it all fall apart. One organization that's looking out for you is the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC. Have you heard of them? AMAC is basically a non-woke alternative to the AARP, and it's America's leading conservative senior advocacy and benefits organization. They have more than 2 million members, and AMAC listens to their members and voices their members' concerns in Washington. They offer guidance, support, and they address the issues that matter most to you. You can join AMAC today with memberships starting as low as $12 a year. Americans are recognizing that where they spend their dollar matters. Support an organization that supports you. Take action. Visit AMAC, that's AMAC.us/Megyn to choose the right plan for you. AMAC is more than just talk. AMAC gets things done. Visit AMAC.us/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.